Order. Welcome to the meeting of the Backbench Business Committee, where we'll be considering applications for requests for debates in both the Chamber and Westminster Hall. First up, as the application, we have an application from Alice MacDonald on the impact of conflict on women and girls. Over to you, Alice.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you very much for seeing me. I proposed this debate, and we've got support across the House from a range of parties of 22. I think I would have got more with a bit more time, but you know how it can be sometimes. Obviously, we are seeing armed conflict ramp up across the globe, and that has heightened the risk that women and girls face. And there's three main reasons I'm putting forward the debate. One, it's very topical, of course, what's happening right now in Syria, but other conflicts, Gaza, of course, Middle East, Afghanistan, etc. There is strong interest across the House. We cover this element in lots of different debates we have on the broader subjects. It's very timely, as I just mentioned, and it's very relevant as the UK government has a key role to play. Just to touch on a couple of the figures, we do know that women and girls are impacted disproportionately in conflict. I think it's about 612 million women and girls live within 50 kilometres of the number of conflicts that have been recorded most recently, and that's a 50% increase compared to 10 years ago. I think we all know there's lots of different ways in which conflict impacts women and girls, violence and abuse, physical and sexual. We've seen in Sudan reports of rape increasing exponentially, with the UN labelling that really disastrous. There is also an impact on opportunity, particularly for girls who are kept out of school even more in conflict situations. More than a quarter of the girls out of school around the world are in conflict or crisis-affected countries. And of course, emotional distress. And there are many immediate but also knock-on conflicts. I've mentioned a few subjects. I think Afghanistan in particular, given the recent Taliban ban on medical education, shows you what happens in conflict situations in the most egregious cases, and there is interest, I think, to discuss that within the House. Sudan, I've mentioned. There are no safe spaces now in Gaza for survivors of gender-based violence, as just one example. So as well as looking at the acute effects, the debate would also provide space to talk about the role of women in peace processes and peace building in line with UN Security Resolution 1325. The previous government had the National Action Plan on Women, Peace and Security, and recently this government has appointed Minister Collins as the Prime Minister's Special Representative for preventing sexual violence in conflict. So there is a lot to discuss in terms of government policy, both here but also what we can do with international partners and to put pressure on. So those are the main reasons that I would like a debate. I've put in for both a Chamber debate and Westminster Hall. I do think there's probably enough interest for a Chamber debate, but would take your steer on what would be most appropriate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Alice, as you say, you've got an application for Westminster Hall and the Chamber. The first available opportunity we can offer you would be a 3-hour debate in Westminster Hall on the 9th of January, Thursday the 9th of January. Given the range of speakers you've got, obviously it's likely to fill up that time. But would that be acceptable to you?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, fine. Any other questions from colleagues? No? Everyone happy? Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks very much.
We move on to Alistair Carmichael. Alistair.
Thank you, Chair.
Alistair, you have a request for a debate on government support for the marine renewables industry.
Yes. This is not the first time we've gone round this course. You'll know that the marine renewables sector, we're talking here about tidal power and wave power as opposed to offshore wind power, which I suppose would qualify under the general title, but that's specifically not what we've been talking about. We've had debates on this in the last Parliament, I think twice at least, and they have both been well attended, and it is very much a developing sector. It's not quite at the point of commercialisation yet, but we've had it included in the last 2 allocation rounds for contracts for difference, and due in large part, I think, certainly in terms of the first time in the AR4, to the parliamentary pressure that we were able to generate at the time of COP26. So I'm keen to maintain that so that we may get this over the line. In terms of the split that we have 5 Labour MPs, including the chair of the Select Committee, 1 Scottish Nationalist, 1 Plaid, 1 Conservative, and 1 Democratic Unionist sitting right behind me. The process of recruitment, I think, will continue. We're in that space, candidly, Chair, where I think we probably could fill a 3-hour debate. We would overfill a 90-minute debate. I would certainly be intending to carry on recruiting members, perhaps more from the official opposition. But I think we could certainly fill the time. It's a significant area where it would be very useful at this stage in the allocation round process to get something on record from the Minister, and hence the application that we have.
Okay, your application is obviously for a chamber debate. You've hit the numbers. Would you consider a Westminster Hall debate?
Of course, yes.
Sorry?
Of course, yes.
Because we could potentially offer you the 16th of January and allow you the full time, as opposed to having a second debate.
I think if we could have the 16th of January, what matters to me, and I think matters to most people, is that we have something on record from the Minister rather than the place in which the Minister says it. So I would be very happy to take that, and I would promise best endeavours. Those who are signed up, I'm reasonably confident, will turn up on the day, and we will do our best to recruit a few extras. You never have too many.
Any questions from other colleagues?
Not a question, just a statement. Yes, I think you need a little bit more labour on there for the actual government, but other than that, and I could recommend some people that would definitely be interested in supporting it to help out on that one.
Absolutely, be very happy to have them. In fact, if you give me names, I'll also recruit them to the APPG, which I happen to chair.
I can't promise I want to do the APPG, but I'll try and get them in the debate.
Right.
Okay, anything else from anyone? No? Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Our third up is our season ticket holder, Jim Shannon, on innovation in the field of rare retinal... Oh, no, sorry. No, I'm not talking about... Looking at the debate you had last week. Innovation in the field of rare retinal disease.
Mr Chairman, first of all, to you and the committee, thank you very much for giving me the chance to come and ask for this debate. This last while I've had a couple of, they're probably almost niche health issues, and this is another one. On the list of names that you have, the first 6 names, not excluding myself, the first 5 names, every one of those 5 MPs have specific interest in this subject. Because probably constituents, to be fair, one of them probably has an interest from a physical point of view. I've been able to add to that Conservative, Independent, Plaid Cymru, 2 Labour and an Ulster Unionist, and the clerk has a photograph of the other names. That's up to 12 names, I think. Maybe it might be now, you know. Why is it important? It's important because there's some, remembering this is a niche debate, there's 25,000 people living in the UK with the inherited retinal disease. So the cost to the NHS is some 523.3 million. That's hard to believe, but it gives you an idea of the cost. I'm a great believer, Mr Chairman, as others are, that diagnose early, respond early, and try to help people if we can. The burden on individuals, their families, and the carers, the health system, and the wider society. The existing standard of care for IRDs is very limited. And I think what we want to try and do through this debate is raise that profile, raise the awareness, and have everybody's singular, the first 5 anyway on the calling list, have their individual comments on behalf of themselves and on behalf of their constituents. The NICE HST programme is vital for people living with rare retinal diseases. Unfortunately, I'm not here to be critical, because that's not my forum, Mr Chairman, you know it's not. But I think we need to have this on the front line or on the desk of the Minister and responsible. I think it's going to be Andrew Gwynn. I spoke to Andrew this morning, and he had said to me he thought that it might be one that he'd be coming to. Some of those who were at another debate this morning on musculoskeletal disease were very keen to be involved in this as well. The 2024 Rare Disease Action Plan, I believe, is a timely opportunity for these concerns to be addressed. So it's really relevant now and come the new year. NICE have recently shared their plans for the HST criteria review, and they had some concerns that it may be too narrow, may not deliver what they hope to have. So, and ever been positive in my contribution, the contribution of others, to ensure that maybe, excuse me, the Minister can come back with a positive spin on this to ensure that this, excuse me, my voice is going to go, specialist care, treatment and drugs. This debate will therefore provide an opportunity to consider how the NICE review can ensure that patients living with rare inherited retinal diseases are not left behind. I think if we wanted one thing from this debate, we want to make sure that the Minister, who I'm confident will be positive, by the way, in response, will ensure that we're not left behind. And that, I would say, Mr. Chairman, is the reason why I'd request the debate. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Two things from me. One is you've applied for Tuesday slot,
Yeah.
Westminster Hall. I'm assuming it's health and social care that will be answering to
It's Andrew, I spoke to Andrew Gwynn this morning. He says that'll be I'll be replying to that. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And then the second thing is, at the moment you've got 6 names on the list. I think you've supplied some more.
I've added another 6, and I've added Conservative, I've added another 2 Labour, Plaid Cymru, another Independent, and also Unionist, Robin Swan, who was the Health Minister in Northern Ireland, by the way. So I'm hopeful. The last debate, we did an R1 a wee while ago there, Mr. Chairman, on our rare disease as well. Again, a niche subject, but these people who have these diseases deserve the right to have their request to the NHS heard. I've found the Ministers incredibly helpful, and I'm confident that the Minister will be helpful once again.
Questions, colleagues? You think? All happy?
Well, I was just going to say, I think it's, as Jim has just pointed out, it's an opportunity to highlight something that's rare. I'm sure we've all experienced people come to our surgeries with something that's exceptional and you've never heard of before, and an opportunity to debate these rare diseases, illnesses and so on. I think it puts them on the political agenda, and I think that's good.
Yeah, I think that's probably the main purpose of what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
I think it'd be helpful. Thank you very much.
Right.
Jimmy mentioned that would be Andrew Gwynn, the Minister.
Well, I was in Westminster Hall this morning at the musculoskeletal disease, and I was speaking to some of the people who were there to ascertain their support for the debate. And Andrew says, "You go in the backbench committee?" I says, "I'm indeed this afternoon." He said, "What are you asking for?" I says, "It's going to be a rare retinal disease. That's my subject. I'll be the Minister answering." That's the only reason I can say that, because he told me, you know. Okay.
The reason I was just asking,
Sorry,
because I was just sorry I wasn't not listening to you. I was just trying to look. I think that the tobacco and smoking bill starts that first week back.
As in January, yeah.
And I just wondered if the Minister would be. I don't know what happened in those instances, Chair.
Well, not for me to tell anybody what to do, Mr. Chairman, but if it was at 9:30 in the morning, maybe he may not be available. He is the Minister.
In position to offer this straight away. Mm-hmm. He'll join the queue.
Yeah, okay.
Right, so.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think it's on quite a few weeks, Chair.
Yeah, well, yeah, could be. All right, thank you very much, Jim, and the clerks will be in touch when we've got time to allocate.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Our last application, unfortunately, he's not able to attend, so we'll close the formal business. Order, and now go into private session to consider the requests.